meeting of this committee. I know that the Parliament is on a recess, but I must say, I am appreciative of the effort on the part of the members and the staff and other representatives who were in attendance this morning to continue the work of this committee. I know that, being on recess, that a number of members and staff would have other things planned for this time. But I must say that we are very much appreciative of the time and the effort. And so I do hope that today we will concentrate more on the work at hand and not get sidetracked in any let me say, unnecessary discussions outside of the purview of this committee. We move quickly to item number 5, which is the reading and confirmation of the minutes of the meetings held on July 22nd and July 29th of this year. The minutes were circulated, so let us take first the minutes of July 22nd. Are there any corrections, omission, additions? Correction? Any corrections? Any corrections to the minutes of July 22nd? If there be no corrections, can I have a motion for us to accept the minutes?
So move, Mr. Chairman. Moved
by Member Campbell Rodriguez. Seconded by Member Warmington. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. We will now examine the minutes of the meeting of the 29th of August. Are there any corrections to that minutes? July. Sorry. Thank you very much, Member Warmington. I see that your mind is not on recess. The minutes of July 29th, any corrections? Any corrections? There be no corrections. Can I have a motion for us to accept? Moved by Member Warmington, seconded by Member Campbell Rodriguez. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Are there any matters arising from any of the 2 minutes? Matters arising? Close. We move quickly to item 6 on the agenda, which is the review of the matrix. Members, can we take some time now and look at the matrix that is before us? The matrix, members, more or less attempts to capture the sentiments of the different submissions, whether written or oral presentations, as well as general comments or positions coming out of the town hall meetings that we had. Looking at we had started in fact to look at this matrix some time ago, but we can, look at it again, members, and I don't want us to go through it in detail. Having had this before us for some time, and I believe that members would have reviewed it, and we were, if not all of us, most of us were present during all the different discussions, just to ensure that this matrix capture the general sentiments of the different submissions. If you can recall, the submissions, you can always make reference to the minutes as well as the presentations, especially the government agencies that made submissions orally and or written submissions. A number of government agencies during their submission would have answered some of the burning questions and issues raised by a number of individuals within and outside of Portmore. For example, looking at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, they spoke to what now exists in the general St. Catherine area as well as Portmore, and also spoke to improvements that are in train, irrespective of Portmore becoming a parish, appreciating the demand in that area, the improvement in a number of existing facilities to be able to serve persons in Portmore and reducing the load on the two hospitals in close proximity, that is the Kingston Public Hospital and the Spanish Town Hospital. Again, they also spoke to the plan to construct a new hospital, and the Prime Minister recently gave a commitment that Portmore will be getting that new hospital that was being proposed for the somewhere in St. Catherine, but he was more definitive in emphasizing or stating that Portmore will get a new hospital. And notwithstanding the fact, members, that the hospital as it is, while it is needed, it is not necessarily a prerequisite for us to designate parish status to any area. The National Works Agency as well spoke to the role and the responsibility of that entity in St. Catherine and throughout the country, but more particularly St. Catherine and Portmore. And they have already started some work to improve the access in Portmore, and not only into getting into Portmore and getting out of Portmore, especially during peak hours, but generally improving the internal road network in Portmore. And we have seen where some of those programmed work are already in train, especially looking at the Port Tennyson Road. Member Warmington, you can even remind us of, if you can recall at this time, some of the proposed work. I know, for example, the major improvement to what we consider the called I-95 in Portmore as well. The widening of that area that runs parallel to the new development that is coming, that is the Bernard Lot development, that I-95 coming from. So I know there's major work being planned for that area to accommodate traffic that will be coming from the additional housing solutions, as well as the existing traffic from Portmore. A member of Warmington, in his presentation in Parliament, spoke to the plan to build what I would consider a new gateway into Portmore from the Mandela Highway. Correct, Member Warmington, that proposal to...
With that's concerned, it's far advanced. So we have three major projects. You have the Grange Lane project that will be improved to a 4-lane. The Portmore going into Elsha, again another 4-lane dualized. And the Municipal Boulevard, as I mentioned, will be 4 lanes also, and a new bridge to take the residents from Mandela Highway into Portmore. And there's a new bridge that and an highway, I'd say, that will take you right into the existing entrance into Gregory Park, where we'll have a flyover, whereby those persons coming along the Dyke Road would not have to intersect with the others. So those coming, going across, you go across, so it'll be a flyover. So we won't have a bottleneck and so on, and the roundabout will be eliminated, the roundabout we have there, so that traffic can flow.
Thank you very much, Member Warmington. So committee, it is quite clear that the question or issues that have come about as well, concerns raised by a number of persons and entities as relates to the congestion in Portmore, getting into Portmore and getting out of Portmore, that the work that is being planned should greatly improve the flow of traffic, especially during peak hours. We see that every morning and every afternoon, where persons are having difficulty, are facing difficulty getting into and out of Portmore. Members, any other point you want us to look at? Well, the National Water Commission again. I mean, they give general support because they themselves recognize that as an entity, a critical state agency, that they themselves will have to improve the level of service generally within the Portmore area. NEPA spoke to the opportunities that can arise or come about for Portmore from a tourism perspective as well as from a developmental perspective. The Ministry of Transport spoke about, but they are in general support, but they spoke about improving transportation and looking at new opportunities as relates to moving people in and out of Portmore and within Portmore. I think this is a glorious opportunity for the Ministry of Transport and Work to become innovative and provide additional services in the government, in true JUTC, as relates to smart buses and using more technology to advance the transportation sector, and of course using more environmentally friendly fuels in the process. Also, members, it was raised, I believe, during one of the town hall meetings about the parish court. Even though the law doesn't stipulate that you must have such a court, we believe that it would be appropriate for us to have such a facility to support a parish. There currently exists a court, a night court in Portmore, and I believe that going forward that the Ministry of Justice can provide, and they are willing to provide the necessary support services and improvement to put in place a proper court system. From a police perspective, the JCF, there are two divisions in St. Catherine North and St. Catherine South. As it stands now, within the current boundary of Portmore, St. Catherine South would more or less cover the current era, more than cover the entire era, which is now Portmore. So from a safety and security perspective, we would have the police, the JCF covering that, and it should not be much of a logistical issue as it was highlighted by the JCF in their presentation. I believe, though, members, that once we have if we should decide on establishing Portmore as a parish, at the parliamentary level or at the level of the minister, we'll have to identify an area which we would call the city centre or town or capital of that new parish. And at the same time, I believe the matter of boundary will be dealt with as well. This committee is not dealing with the boundary of Portmore as such, but the whole concept of establishing Portmore as a 15th parish. And that is what our report should cover or capture. And then at the appropriate stage of whether, based on the report, we will have to cover the other issues. If we are going forward as a parish, we'll have to designate an area as a capital as well as the boundary of such parish. Correct, Member Warmington?
Mr. Chairman, I'm overhearing the conversation between yourself and member. No, I'm just, but it has led me to ask a question.
Go ahead, member.
My question is, Mr. Chairman, in terms of the what we are using to make certain decisions about Portmore being a municipality. Some of the questions that were asked, for example, the question about the hospital was answered. So that's no longer an issue because that has been answered. You know, the Prime Minister has said what he has said about it. Now, the other issue has to do with the capital and the boundaries. And I think we have also received an answer on the matter of the boundaries, in that it will come at some point. It doesn't affect the process of whether or not a jurisdiction should be a parish. And in terms of a capital, it is the same issue, where to decide whether or not there is going to be a parish, you don't need to decide beforehand where it is.
And also remember, the capital is not a must.
Mr. Chairman, are you using the example of Kingston not having a capital?
The example of Kingston. I know
or St. Andrew not having a capital?
Yeah, Kingston is a parish. And the capital of Kingston, I don't recall learning that in civics. But I know it's Kingston. So, that's a non-issue. That's a non-issue.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think even more than a non-issue is for us to ensure that people understand that we already have a parish that doesn't have a capital.
So the precedent is already.
You don't need a capital to make a parish.
No.
So that's a really, really good point that is made, I think, Mr. Chairman. But one of the things I wanted to ask, though, because I can't see too well the small writing on the screen, I just want to know, I want to be sure that to find out, do we have any member of the opposition in the meeting today? Ms. Beckford?
Member Morris is in attendance.
Okay, I just want to be sure that, and I know the notices were sent out for the meeting, so it's not as though anybody did not receive it. So but if we sign off on this today, I just don't want there to be any gap to say,
members, Campbell Rodriguez, that we were all present in the deliberations, the different town hall meetings, and the presentation. So the matrix just more or less captures the general sentiments from the different presentation. So it really is a reflection of what we all saw, heard, and participated in early on. And it is from this matrix that a report will be now compiled, and then we will review that report and sign off on it.
As a new person, I just wanted to be sure, you know, Mr. Chairman, because you don't want anybody to come back. And because I'm new, this is my first time going through this, I just want to be sure that, you know, we have dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Members, any other comment on the matrix? I believe that, members, that the matrix really is very comprehensive, and I want to commend the team here at the Parliament for really capturing accurately the general mood, sentiments of the different presentations that we have had. Mrs. Douglas Bedford, to you and your team here, congratulations. You know, these my colleagues, we are very we can be very thorough at times, and seeing that there's much comment as relates to the what is in this matrix. It speaks volumes of the accuracy and the work of the team here at the Houses of Parliament in compiling this document. Members, Member Warmington?
Chairman, as I said, the matrix is very comprehensive. It captures all that took place in this committee meeting. At this stage, I don't think there's much we have to do or any other presentation expected. The different agencies and departments of government made their presentations. We, as members, give our input, and I think all that needs to be said or done to put together a report to Parliament on the position of the committee has been accomplished. I don't see us have a reason to meet again, with the exception of signing off on the report to Parliament. So I propose at this time that what the next step is to direct the team at Parliament to start preparing a report to Parliament as to the position or findings. And then we can go through. Normally the draft is emailed to members, and then we can review, make whatever corrections or we think we need to do, send it back to the Secretariat, and then from there the final report will be done. We can meet at that time, go through, sign and what have you. I think that's where we are at this stage. So the issue is to find out the sentiment or the positions of the members. Are we in agreement with the matrix itself? It captured everything. So is it that we are in agreement or not in agreement? So what you need to put it to us, thank you. And we can state whether we are in agreement. And if we're in agreement, we know where we're going. If we're not in agreement, it's the same way. We write a report to Parliament that we are not supporting the position.
Thank you very much, Member Warmington, for that suggestion and guidance. And members, I put it to this committee, the suggestion by Member Warmington, firstly, that the matrix accurately captures the sentiments or the presentations that were made throughout the course of this deliberation, and to instruct the clerk and her team to compile, to prepare the report from this committee and sending it around to us for us to go through and then meet again at the earliest possible date. Okay, we will take members. Let us take Member Campbell. Then I'll go to Member Davis. Member Campbell.
Yeah. Thanks, Chairman. Whilst I agree that the
the matrix captures the sentiments expressed during the proceedings. I just wonder if it wouldn't be, and before we get to the point of, before we get to the point of asking the clerk to prepare a report, if it wouldn't be necessary to ask the Attorney General to guide us as to legally what is necessary to complete this transaction. I believe there may be one or two elements which ought to be satisfied before we can actually take that final step, before we can actually make a recommendation to Parliament.
Chairman, may I say that the Assistant of the Attorney General will come into the committee or the report itself. The report is the prerogative of the committee. We prepare the report, it goes to Parliament, Parliament acts on it. Then at that stage, if it's going forward, the Attorney General Department will come in and guide the whole process along with the Chief Parliamentary Council to put together whatever is necessary for it to become effective. But at this stage, it's just left to us as members. Our opinion, our position, whether or not we agree or we don't agree on the establishment of the parish. If we agree or disagree, whatever it is, we have to send back a report to Parliament because it's a committee of Parliament. If Parliament votes in it and accepts the report in support, then that's when the legal arm of the government comes in.
Members, the work of this committee is very specific. In fact, the Solicitor General is online. She's in the meeting as well. Mr. Aldred is in this meeting. And I'm sure, Member Campbell, if we were going off track, we would have been guided accordingly. So where we are now as a committee is that we are doing this deliberation. We are preparing a report to the Parliament. If the Parliament accepts that report, then the necessary mechanism kicks in to facilitate the decision of Parliament. Member Davis?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me now?
No. Member Davis, go ahead.
Are you hearing me now, Mr. Chairman? I think there are some technical difficulties that.
Member Davis, we're working on it. We're turning up the volumes. Just give us a few more seconds.
I hear, Mr. Chairman, that there is precedent because Kingston in on itself does not have a parish. Sorry, a parish capital, but it is indeed a municipality. So a parish can be a municipality without a parish capital. So I think there are precedents for that, Mr. Chairman. But all in all, I think this deliberation was a very in-depth one. Sometimes comes across as cross, but I think we have all reached a point where this committee can compile and complete a presentation to be sent to the parliamentary committee and the parliament and the cabinet for them to review and make the right decision at the right time. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Member Davis. So members, are there any other comments from members of this committee before you go any further? Any indication? Okay. So members, Member Warmington made a proposal.
We understand. Heard you.
Oh, okay. Member Miller. Go ahead, Member Miller. Go ahead, Member Miller.
No, it seems we're not hearing what's happening in the chamber.
Member Miller?
Sir Chair, we're not hearing.
Oh, go ahead, member. We are hearing you. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that we're hearing, but apparently you're not hearing us.
I'm hearing you now, member. So you had indicated that you.
My colleague, Member Homer, mentioned a short while ago his support of this activity that we're doing. I was wondering if you were hearing him, and I myself, want to give support to what is being said by Member Warmington as well. I'm in full support of what is listed in the matrix, and I'll give my approval for it to go to the House of Representatives. So that's my contribution to the meeting, Sir Chair.
Thank you very much, Member Miller. Any other comments? Any other comments? Go ahead, Member Morris.
A pleasant good morning, and we are being bedeviled by technical problems from this side, and I just want to apologize for members Daly and Jackson, because they have indicated that they had other commitment in light of the parliamentary recess, and so they weren't able to schedule this meeting in their diary. And I want to signal Mr. Chairman that from the opposition standpoint, we will, when the substantive report is prepared, we will make our reviews, and at that point in time, we will, based on what is prepared in the report, make a determination as to what our position will be. So we reserve our decision at this point in time until we see the draft report. May it please you.
Noted, Member Morris. Members, I want us to.
Sir Chair?
Member Miller, go ahead, Member Miller.
I just want to ask through the chair to Member Morris if that is the collective response from the opposition members of the committee, or is it the response from Member Morris?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Okay. I did state in my response that the opposition, and there are, I think, 3 or 4 members of the opposition. So we reserve our comment until we see the report.
Okay, members.
Mr. Chairman, again, because I'm new, so I need sometimes to be taught some of these things. I'm just trying to seek clarification. As a new person, so I don't understand so well. What will the report have that the matrix does not have? Help me to understand. What will be the difference?
I believe this, the motion that will be placed on the table right now should answer directly and indirectly that question. Members, we need to take a decision whether this committee agrees with the proposal for the establishment of the municipality, for the establishment of the 5th Portmore as the 15th parish of Jamaica. That is the motion that we need to vote on or decide on so that it is captured in the report. A very critical question, members.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, Mr. Chairman, for my part, again, having heard all the stakeholders, I think this committee has reached the point where we can make that recommendation to go forward to the House of Parliament. Mr. Chairman, the arguments for the creation of Portmore being the 15th parish in Jamaica far outweigh any argument against Portmore becoming the 15th parish. In fact, Mr. Chairman, there were no arguments for Portmore not to become the 15th parish, or no valid argument that was posited. All persons were saying in their opposition is, oh, but what extra benefit is there? Oh, but what extra benefit is there? What more benefit can be achieved other than Portmore continuing as a municipality? That was the extent of it. No one said, if Portmore were to become the 15th parish, there are these 3 or 5 or 10 negative ramifications that would follow. No one has put forward that. Whilst, Mr. Chairman, persons have spoken clearly about the different funding, from a financial perspective, when they spoke about the funding aspect, and they spoke about the land tax and car tax, and we looked at the number of houses in Portmore, we looked at the number of vehicles in Portmore, we looked at the parochial revenue fund and the benefits and the gains to be had for the residents of Portmore. We looked at courthouses, we looked at a centralized police system, we looked at centralized health system for the parish of Portmore to be. So all the positives are in fact there. So I want the record to note clearly that my vote is for us to move ahead once and for all for the benefit of the good residents, the good people of Portmore. Let us not play politics. Let us not play politics. And I repeat again, let us not play politics with the development, the growth, future and prosperity of Portmore.
Thank you very much, Member Terry Long. So members, let us at this time vote on the proposal. Those in favor for the municipality of Portmore to become the 15th parish of... Go ahead, Member Morris. Member Jackson, Member Warmington, Member Morris, as I stated earlier, your point is noted. I put in to the committee, Member Morris, your point is well noted. Member Morris, I have already stated that what your presentation earlier was noted. It was noted, Member Morris. the point that you're trying to make, is it different from the earlier point? Go ahead, Member Morris.
Because members of the opposition have indicated to me that they are not a part of this meeting because when we were going on parliamentary recess, they were not apprised that there were going to be a committee meeting of this nature. And so they never prepared to be a part of this meeting. And so
Member Morris, this nonsensical argument will not be tolerated. You know, Member Morris, there's a mechanism in place, right, that we use to notify members of meetings, whether at the committee level or at the parliament level. No, this meeting was first scheduled for last Thursday. Because of the weather, we postponed it and rescheduled it, member, for this Thursday. Adequate. In fact, a notice was sent out the morning of that meeting. And to prove that the mechanism works, the only person that actually turned up here was Member Campbell Rodriguez, because she did not read her email. So no one else came online or in person to the parliament. That same email that postponed last Thursday's meeting indicated that this Thursday we would have the meeting. Reminders were subsequently sent via the same mechanism. You yourself, you are present here, and I'm sure that if you being a good member of the opposition, that you would have indicated to your colleagues if you believe that they were not aware of today's meeting. So, Member Morris, I don't have no time for the politicking. Right? I have no time for the politicking. Let us, Member Morris, I am closing this part of the discussion. Member Morris, let us not make a fool of ourselves in front of the public. See, the days of this type of fool politics and opposition opposing because of opposing, it don't make sense. Let us move forward, man, and deal with the issue at hand. I don't have the time for that. Member, I'm sure once the report is prepared, you'll get an opportunity to comment.
So you again, are telling me that I cannot speak.
Members, the before us is a decision to
That's not fair. That is not.
No, but I am making.
Can you just mute those persons who are interrupting the meeting, whether it is Member Miller or Member Morris? I am Member Miller. We have moved past this discussion now. We are at the stage. Members, listen. Members, let us just deal with the business at hand. I don't have any time for the back and forth arguing. Member Morris is a senior member of this parliament. He knows the protocols. He knows for a fact that, more than proper notice, but the fact that when the report is prepared, if they are not in agreement, then they vote. They don't support it or not. It is their prerogative. If the arguments are not compelling and for them, then so it be. You know. So members, we need to take a decision whether we are in agreement with the proposal for the Portmore municipality to become the 15th parish of Jamaica. Those in favor? Aye. Aye. You can unmute those persons online.
Aye. Aye.
Those against? Member Morris? No, I just want to know his position.
Mr. Chairman, I've been asking you to speak, and you can't rush me into a vote when you don't allow me to speak. I am not going to be anybody's puppet, and I am leaving this.
Okay, Member Morris, noted. The ayes have it, members. Thank you. Members, we are at AOB. Madam Clerk, you have captured the sentiments of the committee, and we await the report for our review. I believe, member, once the report is prepared and we have examined that report, we can then set the date for the next meeting. Can I have a motion for us to adjourn? Moved by member Warrington, seconded by member Campbell Enriquez. Those in favor? Aye. Those against, the ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
I'm saying to every single Jamaican, you will decide how this pandemic ends. If you wear your mask, if you maintain the physical distance, and if you decide to take the vaccines when it is your time, the pandemic will end. But if in frustration or just ignorance, we do not take responsibility, then the pandemic could end badly, including the loss of more lives.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Booking your COVID-19 vaccination appointment is simple. Use one of two options. Option 1. Register using the online portal at the Ministry of Health and Wellness's website. Go to www.moh.gov.jm, click Apply here for COVID-19 vaccinations, and follow the instructions on screen. Enter your mobile phone number. You will receive a text message with a one-time password. Enter it on the site to confirm your account. Fill in the information requested. Choose your parish and a vaccination center there. Then schedule a date and time convenient to you. You will receive a text confirmation with the details of your appointment. Option 2. You may also book your vaccination appointment via telephone. Call the National Vaccination Center at 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. A representative will take your information, book you at the nearest vaccination site, and register your appointment. You now have a vaccination appointment. For your first dose, when going to the site, take your TRN and a government-issued identification or letter from a Justice of the Peace. For your second dose, take to the appointment your vaccination card, TRN, and a government-issued identification or letter from a Justice of the Peace. You may ask a relative or friend to help you book your vaccination appointment. Book your COVID-19 vaccination appointment today. Get vaccinated. Get back to life.
So